For those who don't know, the Byzantine Empire was the eastern half of the Roman Empire, that survived for another 1,000 years after the fall of Rome, based around Constantinople, and it was a very weird place, very religious society. They had emperors, and every reign they'd have this thing called the bride show, which is when they'd line up all the eligible women of the empire, and the emperor would walk down and pick himself a bride, which is as fucked up as it sounds. Anyway, in the 600s AD, the Emperor Theophilus was walking down the line at the bride show, and he saw a beautiful young woman by the name of Cassiani, and he thought, she's fit, right? So, now the thing is, the actual content of the conversation is quite hard to translate from the Greek, but the gist is this: he complimented her in a slightly patronizing way, right? And she was smart as a tack. So she replied with a biblically sourced quip, like she stung him back with a joke, and he didn't get the joke, and it had to be explained to him by his dude courtier friend, which obviously didn't go down all that well with the emperor. So she was condemned to live the rest of her life as a nun, right? But she kept busy. She wrote music, she wrote poetry, she wrote aphorisms. She's one of only 2 women whose signatures we have a copy of from the pre-industrial era. That's a fucked up fact, it should make you angry. But yeah, and one of the pieces of music she wrote survives. It's called The Hymn of Cassiani, right? And I've written my own version of it. So this is kind of a co-write across 1,400 years of history, which I think is pretty cool. But here's the thing, the words to the original are about this event where apparently the emperor went back to visit her later in life when she was a nun. He went to her house, and she saw him coming, and she hid in the garden because she was so scared that the very sight of him would inflame lustful passions inside her and shame her as a nun. And I read that story and I thought to myself, that sounds like the story that the dude told afterwards. You know what I mean? The emperor got back home after the visit, and his courtier friend was like, how did it go? And he was like, well, I went to the place and she hid and refused to see me because she's so in love with me even now. And his courtier guy went, yeah man, that's what happened. Totally bro. And then they like bumped chests or whatever they used to do back in that period of time. Anyway, I don't think that's what happened at all, so I wrote my own version. This song's called The Hymn of Cassiani. I've had the day